Good morning, or whatever time it is when you're watching this. I am Andi the Knittress. You can find me on YouTube, Ravelry, and Instagram as Andi the Knittress. And this is my little corner of the internet where I just like to share all the things that I'm doing with yarn, spinning, weaving, crocheting, knitting, etc. So it's been a minute. I think it's been like 3 weeks. This is episode 6, and it is May 20th. I'm finding that it's just easier for me to have a little bit more space in between my episodes, and it's my show, so I'll do what I want. I got this mug for Mother's Day. I absolutely love it. Don't we all love coffee mugs, collect them? I don't know. I do. I have far too many. I kind of like when one breaks because then it gives me an excuse to get a new one, but then I'm a little sad because I missed the one that broke. But I got this one, and it's like a mermaid tail, and I love this little, it's like perfect. My hand just sits right on this tail perfectly. So let's jump right in. I've got a whole bunch of finished objects today. First one being my Raglan sweater. I knitted this from Ann Budd's book of top-down sweaters, and I, made a little bit of alterations here at the neck because I wanted to have a square neck, and I just really like it. This is made out of the Lion Brand Wool Ease. It's like the mandala, but it's wool. I think it's 20 wool and then 80 acrylic. I really like it. I like the way the striping turned out. You can see I did a little bit of like a triangle detail here when these are all pearls and I went down into a triangle. I did that because I knew that I was going to do an increase on the hips because I have a big old booty, and when I sit down I like my shirts to not stretch tight across my belly. But I really like the way the striping worked out, and I didn't know if I was going to like so much the mustard with the blue. I mean, I love mustard and I like the blues and purples. I was iffy on it, but I am really loving it. I did a half sleeve, and all of my see my little alien leggings, all of my bind offs were tubular bind offs, and I absolutely love the way all the colors worked out. I think I used a total of 3 skeins for this. All of the information is on my project page on my Ravelry. So finished this, yay, and I love it. Got a couple other finished objects here. One is my gingham, I think it was called gingham here. I have the pattern right in front of me. Double knit gingham neck warmer. It's a free pattern on Ravelry by Gabriella Papel. And I did this because I wanted to try double knitting. It took me a little while to get it done. It's a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. But, so, it's like reversible. But it's a nice cowl, let's see if I can get it over my hair. It's a nice, little extra layer to have under your coat in the winter, and, should it fall down later, you're not going to see all the floats and stuff on the inside because it's double knit and they're all in between, and I really, really like it. This also works for me with my hair as like a little hat, topless hat. So yeah. And this is made out of Cascade 220 Superwash, and I just like how it's so thick and bouncy. It feels really nice. And anything that is buffalo check plaid I like, even though they called it gingham. This is really resemblant of a buffalo check. So I'm really liking that. My cast on and my bind off, I didn't follow their directions because I was rushing and I wanted to just get it started. But yeah, so there's that. And the next thing that I have finished is, I love this. This is my shawl that I made out of my own spun yarn. So this is, oh goodness. Oh, I got all of this wool, or yeah, the wool from Knit Picks, and it is their, oh man, I'm gonna put it down below in the description. It completely escaped me. I was getting everything together today, and oh, it'll come to me or it won't. Anyway, I spun all this yarn and then I knit it up, and I absolutely love it. It's so thick, and I did this slip stitch to fade them together. So like I knit a row of the green and I slipped the orange, and then so I just really like that detail to blend them together. And this is Merlot, and this one's salsa, Merlot, persimmon, and dill. And I just love it. I wish I could remember the wool, but I can't. I don't remember things. You guys know that. Anyway, I'll put it down in the description, but I absolutely love this. And I got these shawl pins off of Etsy, and I totally forgot I was going to talk about them, so I did not look up who it's from, but I will put the link in the show notes. I really love these. These are so cute. Just put this on there, and then you go through your shawl. Try not to poke myself with that. And then you just like loop it around. It's very like Lord of the Rings-ish. I like it. It's, or you know, like Renaissance fair. Like, I just really like this. And these were fairly inexpensive. I'll put everything down below, but I got this one, and I got this one. I want to say it was like $12. I feel like that is what I paid for it, but they're really, really cute. So I love that. And then another thing that I have finished, my daughter got for her birthday, she got one of those circular looms, you know, one of these thingies, because she's been trying to knit and she's having a hard time with the needles, and so she has hers cast on still, and she's, you know, slowly going with it. But I wanted to try it out. I've never used one before, so I made this little circle cowl out of this yarn. It's Barocco, I don't know. I won this yarn for free at my local yarn shop on Easter. They had an Easter egg hunt, and the color egg I found, I got free yarn. So I was super excited. So I picked out this sparkly, chunky Barocco and made myself another little neck warmer cowl or slash topless hat. But I have to say that I don't like using that circular loom. It's really great, like, if you know, if you don't know how to knit and you would like a knitted hat, or you know, whatever from that, it's really awesome, because you know, you do get that knit stitch look. My stitches look a little like they're twisted though, as if like you knit through the back loop every time. I guess that has to do with the way I wrapped the yarn around there. But it would have just been so much quicker for me to knit this. because every time if you let any of the tension loose when you're wrapping your yarn around, then it just would like spring off the whole thing and I'd have to start all the way back over at the beginning. But it's really cute. And I like it, and Scarlett likes it too. She's like, everything I make, is that for me? No, it's not. And the next thing I have finished is, oh, where did it go? Oh, right here. I knit this little guy. It is I'm not one for words. Okay, so I'm gonna just show you and then I'll try it. And I want to say it's German. It's Knubbelchen. Knubbelchen. I mean, English I would want to say Knubbel, like the K would be silent, but I do believe that you pronounce all the letters if it's in German. So if you know how to pronounce it, put it down there. But I was watching Chevyrell stuff, and she had showed this pattern, and I had to knit it up. I'm like, oh my gosh, that'll be really cute. I had been, stuck on what to make for my husband. Has a friend who is having a baby in June or July, and I was gonna make them a blanket, but I'm really slow going at blankets and I just really wanted to have something done. So I made this, and it's so cute. It's made out of Lion Brand Comfy Cotton. So that is, I think 60% cotton, and then I can tell you. Oh, it's 50-50 cotton polyester. So Lion Brand Comfy Cotton. I mean, it barely looks like I touched this. I used the white for the face. I'm going to make a market bag out of the rest of this. And that color is the cream color, the whipped cream. And then this is blueberry muffin. And I think that really does look like a blueberry muffin. Like, when you cut open the muffin and all the purples and the blues are in there, I just really like it. It is so cute. The only thing I did different than the pattern was, so for the pattern, it's a free pattern. It's basically like knitting a little sweater, and then, you put the sleeves on hold, and then you go down, and then there's like a purl ridge if you want to do the skirt, and if you don't want to do the skirt, you just go straight. Divide for the legs, go down into a taper. I did an extra 12 rows than they suggested for the legs and the arms, because I didn't have quite enough room to tie the knots on the end. So I think that it could be because you're supposed to use sock yarn, and I didn't use sock yarn. This is like, sport weight cotton. But, so I just did, it ended up being after your last decrease, they say to knit 3 rows, but I just knit 15 rows. So, and then when I got to the hat, on the hat, they're like, when you get to your 10 stitches and you do your last decrease, knit 15 rows. And I'm like, huh, how convenient is that? They tell you to do it on the hat, and there was plenty of room to tie the knot on the hat, and they didn't tell you to do it on the legs and the arms, but I did that. So, and then I have my little, the little knots on there. They were harder to tie than you would think. It is, it's a little thicker than I think they planned. And then, you sew the hat on to the head, and it's just so cute. And I think this is perfect, like a perfect gift for a little baby. Like, it's not a big, stuffy for them to hold on to. Little baby hands can just hold on to this, and it's cotton. So like, if they're chewing on it, it's like a wash rag. Like, I don't know. I just think it's cute. This is probably going to be my go-to for knitting baby, like baby gifts. So thank you, Chevyrell, for like showing this, because I would have never found this. I would have never found this on Ravelry if she didn't, show it on her show. And I went immediately and I got it, and I think it's so cute. I want to make one for myself, and I think that I'm going to use some leftover sock yarn, like make a scrappy one, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I've only knit a few pair of socks, so I don't have a whole bunch of scrap sock yarn left, but yet. All right. The next thing that I have finished is Spoilers, if you are doing the Drunk Knitter mystery knit along for the I drink and I know things, I knit and I know things. Oh, I don't remember what she's called it. But anyway, it's the Game of the Thrones knit along, and so spoiler alert. So if you don't want to know what it looks like, then don't look. But I love it. So the last clue was released on Saturday. Today is Monday, just so you can figure it out. And this is brioche, and that's the light side, and I really, really like it. I gotta weave in my ends, but it's fine. And I've got Madeline Tosh in Tart and Silver Fox carried with some French word mohair. I showed it last time. It's in my Ravelry notes on my project page, but I really like it. So, truth be told, after we got clue 5, I basically knew what clue 6 was going to be, because like it was symmetrical. So one side was a right leaning ladder, the other side was a left leaning ladder, and then you have your decreases on one side. Your decrease was at the end of the row. So I'm like, oh, well, on this side it'll be at the beginning of the row. So I kind of cheated and finished this in week 5 before week 6's pattern came out. Now I was gambling because, you know, she could have completely done something different and thrown you for a loop, and it could have not been right, but it was, and I guessed right. I mean, it was a very easy to catch on pattern, you know, like when you get the flow of a pattern. And so, yeah, I finished this last week, which is another reason why I've been waiting to film my podcast, because I didn't want to film and show this until the last clue had come out so I could make sure that I was right. I had so much trouble with this in the beginning, between clue 2 and clue 3. You have to pick up stitches at a spot, and I picked them up backwards, so my colors were wrong. And, you know, I was going to just stick with it, but then when the 4th clue came out, I realized that my whole piece would have been leaning the wrong direction, so I had to rip back all of the clue 3 that I had knit up, and then pick it up and do 3 and 4, and then 5 came out, and I had the hang of it by then. But I don't know if I will do another mystery knit along, because I'm really impatient, and like, this is a quick knit, so like, had I had the whole pattern, I could have done this probably in one evening. I feel like maybe I could have done it one evening, or, you know, a solid Saturday of knitting or something. I love it. I love brioche. I love the way it looks. It's not nearly as intimidating as some people think it is. You know, it's like, just like cabling and you know, those things, they always seem to like intimidate me. Sorry, there's a neighbor driving by with their truck. I can't wait to move out of this neighborhood and not have such close neighbors. Anyway, I don't know what I was saying. Oh, it's easy. It seems intimidating, but it's not. It really is. It's just, everything is just one stitch at a time, and how you're working it. So, but I love this, and it's super fuzzy. Like, you can see the halo. And I just really like the contrast colors that I chose with the red and the silver. And I love it. And I still have to weave in my ends and block it, which I will do. And so I have a finished object to show you guys that I didn't make. My husband made it. I had taught him to knit probably around the same time I learned to knit. It's not something that, you know, he does on a regular basis, but I have been knitting so much lately, and I sit and I watch podcasts, and, you know, he watches them with me too. He doesn't like to admit it, but like, you know, he'll ask me questions about, oh, what's going on with whoever I've been watching, and when, you know, do they have a new episode? So I'm like, you know, you could sit and knit with me. Like, you know how to do it. It's not, you know, he used to make like, you know, like those paracord bracelets and stuff like that, like that were real popular there for a while. And he used to tie like the hemp necklaces when we were younger, and you know, it's all like knots and string. So I'm like, you can totally figure out how to do this. So he started a flat piece, and then he's like, you know, what is this gonna be? You know, he just had some of my scrap yarn and it was a flat piece, and I'm like, well, there's not enough to really be anything. You just give it to our daughter as like, you know, a Barbie doll blanket or something. And he was like, but I want to make something that, you know, that I can use for my first piece. And I'm like, okay. I mean, so we went and got him some circular needles out of my stash, and he cast on 100 stitches, and he started on this side, and he just was doing knit, 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 knit. And then he's like, well, I want to learn, you know, something else. Like, I want to learn something else. So I taught him how to rib. So I was like, now this is a little complicated because you're not just going, you know, knit, knit, knit. You're going to knit and then purl and then knit and then purl. And you're going to have to move your yarn every time. When I learned how to rib the first time, I did not realize that you have to move your yarn. That you have to, you know, bring the yarn to the forward when you're purling and then to the back. I knew you stick the needle in the front of the yarn, and I was doing that. So the first time I ribbed, I had a whole ton of yarn overs in between all my ribs. So I was like, you have to move your yarn. And he caught on. He caught on so well. And he just finished this. We have no idea what this yarn is. It was scrap yarn that we got from his grandmother. And it feels acrylic-y. Most of the stuff in there it felt like store-bought, like, you know, box store-bought yarn. But this little cowl, he really likes it. He's like, oh, I like this in the winter. You know, I can put it up around my face and tuck it under my coat. It doesn't look really feminine. Like he's really proud of it. And I love that he is excited about something that he made as I get. And I'm really excited that, you know, we can share this hobby. So yeah. I'm really excited that, and I was like, wait, do you want to come on my podcast and show it off? He's like, no, I'll give it to you. You show it off. He's not really a in front of the camera person. So there's that. The other thing that I have finished is a new hobby that I picked up thanks to Kalisha of the Quirky Monday craftcast. I have picked up weaving because she had shown that she got a loom at her Hobby Lobby for discount, and I was like, oh, that's a little loom, because whenever I have thought of a loom, I always thought like, you know, it's this big piece of machinery, and I'm like, I have a tiny house, I don't have anywhere to put something like that. I never guess I realized that you can just have a little tiny like lap loom and just weave little small wall hangings or whatever. So I'm like, was completely inspired and went on Amazon or eBay, I don't remember which one I got, and got, you know, like the same loom that she had found at her Hobby Lobby, because my closest Hobby Lobby is all the way up in Eugene, which, I mean, isn't that far, but I just generally don't go up that way very often. So I made my first my little wall hanging. I mean, and I love it. It's kind of wonky looking, you know, it's a little tight here. I didn't realize you're not supposed to snug the yarn in so much, but I just took all of these yarns, came in the box with the loom, like, so I just did it, and I went with it, and I hung it on this weird little stick that my kids had found on one of our nature hikes, and I just really like it. It's cute. It's my first piece. It's, you know, kind of just a basic little weird wall hanging. Like, I tried to do a heart there. I mean, I feel like it mostly looks like a heart. Mostly backside's horrible looking. But, I mean, who looks at the backside if it's hanging on a wall? Nobody. So there's that. I'm pretty sure that these are all like, so this pink was like a roving, and then this was like a bulkier yarn, and this was a thinner yarn. Yeah, so that was really fun. It's like a fun thing to do, and I really like it. So that'll bring me into my whips. I think that's all my finished objects, except for spinning. I'll just show that when I'm talking about all my spinning stuff. I've got a couple finished yarns. So this is the little loom that I got, and it is adjustable, so like you can adjust the height of it, and then obviously you don't have to fill the whole loom up. You can do less. So this is some of my hand spun yarn that I did. I've shown before, and then this was yarn that came with the loom. And so I think what I'm trying to do here is I'm going to make 2 panels like this, and then I'm going to stitch them together and make like a little tote bag. If I can, I'll probably line it. Maybe. I don't always like to sew. I'm like a freeform sewer. I don't use patterns or anything. I know how to set my machine up, and I know how to, you know, like thread it and everything, and I know how to use it in different stitches, but I am by no means any kind of seamstress. So how hard can it be to cut out, you know, 2 squares of material, sew them together, and then I'll probably hand stitch them to these 2 panels that I'm gonna make. So I'm really liking it. Like, it's fun. Like, this yarn that I made probably wouldn't really be great for knitting. It's very, you know, thick and thin, and you can see like there's some less spun spots. This is one of my, you know, like this is in my learning curve, and so it's probably not very great for using to knit for a piece. So what else to do with it? Weaving is like perfect. Like I'm really proud of this yarn because, you know, it was one of my first colorful pieces, so I want to make sure it gets used, and so I'm just gonna make a little tote bag. I don't know, it'll be cute. All right, so what do I got going next? This is a long episode. It's been a minute, so I've got all kinds of stuff that I'm working on. All right, so we'll start with this. I'm working on the Grrlfriend Market bag. This is a free pattern on Ravelry by Laura Spradlin. The Grrlfriend Market bag. This, I think I've had this in my library for a while, but I just recently pulled it up and decided that I was going to use it. So I'm using the leftover blueberry muffin cotton yarn that I had bought for the little dolly, and I did a little bit of different. So here in the bottom I did like a crocheted, I think it's called a crocheted magic loop, where you kind of make like a slip knot around your finger, but you don't cinch it tight, and then you just crochet in that slip knot all around, and then you can cinch it real tight. So that's how I started the bottom, and then I did 12 stitches instead of 8 like they tell you, because you divide it on 4 DPNs, and then you knit one, yarn over, knit one. Well, I didn't like that yarn over right next to my center circle, so I decided to do 3, so the knit one, yarn over, knit one, yarn over, and then it makes the square. So I don't know, I just decide to do stuff sometimes, but I really like how sturdy that gives the bottom of my bag. And it's going pretty quickly. I started this last night, like just sitting watching TV and stuff, and it's going pretty quickly. I got not very much of this left. I think I'm gonna knit to the end of this skein, and then I'm gonna use some of the whipped cream color to do a handle at the top. Now the market bag, this has just one handle on it, but I did find another bag on Ravelry where there was 2 handles, and I don't I still don't know if I'm going to use that, but I will link that in my show notes also. But it's a produce bag, and so then instead of, you know, binding off your stitches and then knitting across for the handle for this, I'm thinking about you bind off your stitches and then you cast on some on this side and then knit a little way across, and then you bind off this many and then you cast on, you know, however many, and then you have two handles that kind of come up. You guys probably don't understand what I'm talking about, but when it's all said and done, I'll show it to you guys. But so then the two handles will be, you know, come up off the bag, because I think like a two-handle bag is sometimes easier than a one-handled bag to like put your groceries in and stuff. I don't know what I'm talking about 100%, but it'll be whatever it turns out to be, and then I'll show you guys and then I'll tell you exactly. But it's going really, really quickly. I did size 4 on the bottom, and then I switched to a size 10 for the lace. Oh, the other thing I'm doing with this is, so instead of, so they have you yarn over, knit 2 together all the way around, and you're supposed to do then knit a row and then yarn over, knit 2 together all the way around. Instead of doing that, I'm like one row I'll do yarn over, knit 2 together, then I'll knit a row, and then I'm doing knit 2 together, yarn over. I know it doesn't seem like that big of a difference, but that gives it, like, instead of the holes being stacked on each other, they kind of, you know, like zigzag on top of each other. So, you know, hole there, one in the middle of 2, and then 2 on top. So I like the look of that better than being completely stacked upon each other. It's just a little difference, and, you know, just something. And I got that in this bag. I was watching Knit for Brains, and she was like, showed this bag that she got for her, and she got one for her daughter from Walmart, and I think that this was on sale for like $7.97 on Walmart.com. And I think, and they're $10 in the store. They're not on sale in the store, but they price match. So, you know, I had to get it. It's the perfect little project bag. Like, I'm a sucker for stuff, like cute stuff, project bag. And it's got a little zipper on the front. You put like your little notions in there, and it's got the flat bottom. Fit the skein in there. So cute. I'm totally glad she showed that. I had put a comment on her shows like, yeah, I went out and snagged me one of those bags, thank you. Because it's really cute. The other thing I like too is, I mean, if you wanted to, you could thread your yarn through the side here, because there's a little hole, and then you don't have to have it dragging across your zipper. Only problem with that is if, when you want to put your project away, it's going to be next to a zipper, like there'd be a little yarn loop hanging over. Anyway, you guys probably don't know. Maybe you do. Alright, what else am I working on? The other thing that I'm working on is, so I don't usually fall for like all of the popular patterns that everybody knits, like, you know, everybody knits, you know, all of the same things sometimes. I just like to go on Ravelry and be like, I have this yarn and I want to make something. I want to make a hat. Okay, so then I'll go look for hats. I want to make a cabled hat, and then I'll look for a cabled hat. I don't necessarily go and follow what everybody's like making, but this pattern was all over my Instagram and I absolutely love it, and I had to do this. So I'm jumped on this bandwagon, and I am knitting the Wingspan by Kyle Vey, and this pattern is, it's not complicated, but it takes a lot of brain work. So I can't knit this pattern and have my kids home, or have company, or sit at, you know, Saturday knitting and knit this. It takes all of my brain. It takes all of my brain to focus on this. I really like the way that the pattern is written. It gives you 2 different ways. It's like, okay, it gives you row by row, or he gives you like, this is how the pattern is, and you're basically, it's like, you know, this is what you want to do with these wings. One side's going to lean this way and one side's going to lean that way, so you can kind of figure it out on your own, which is really cool, because I tend to knit that way. I tend to like get a pattern, figure it out, and be like, okay, I don't need the pattern anymore, set the pattern down, and then knit the item. And I really like that I don't have to, you know, go to the pattern every stitch and be like, what am I doing? I like when patterns are like that, and I can read them really well. And I don't know if that's the right verb. I don't know. Anyway, so I, despite everybody's opinion online, am making this out of cotton. Everybody's like, oh, cotton is probably not going to, you know, hold the shape very well because it's cotton. But I just want it to be a really light, like not warm shawl at all. It just really reminds me of summer. That's what I want it. So it's, you know, my knitting, my rolls, whatever. If it doesn't work out, it's whatever. But I'll probably still like it. So I'm knitting it out of the Sheepies. I don't know. That's a J. So Sheepies is what I'm calling it. Sheepies Whirl. And this color is called Jade Jim Jam. And it is a 60/40 cotton acrylic. And it's got this beautiful gradient. And I really, really like it. So, and I kind of have my project sitting in here because it's still kind of small because it takes all of my brain to knit this. And I had to put in stitch markers so that I could figure out where all of the little feathers were. So this is it so far. And so this is the neckline. It'll be like, you know, here if I wanted to wear it sideways. So you start from the top down and see there are some of my little feathers. So I have the first row of feathers done, and I did the transition, and I'm started on the second row of feathers, and I really, really like it. Hopefully I get it done before this summer. I don't have a whole lot of time where I'm uninterrupted to knit. Like, I mean, I do when my kids are in school, but then my husband's there and people are talking to me. This is something I've got to keep my brain on. Like, I can't watch TV and knit this, which is hard for me because usually that's what I do. I knit and I watch TV. So I really do like it though, and I can't wait until I'm done. I can't believe that as soon as this pattern came out, I was following the Ravelry group for it, and like it felt like in no time people were already done with it. I'm like, y'all are better than me, because I just could not, my brain could not wrap around that. So yeah. All right, the next thing that I am working on is also a slower knit because I am not very proficient in color work. It's still a new thing to me. Like I can do it. I just am not quick at it. And so I am a thrower technically, I guess. So I hold my yarn in my right hand, and with color work I've been holding them one in each hand. I tried to hold it with both. I probably already told you guys this. Anyway, it's slow going for me. And so I am working on the Hogwarts A History by Meg of Bad Wolf Girl Studios. And I have chose to do a few charts, and then I think I'm going to throw in one of my own charts. So, or not my own, but a different, like a snake chart. So I'm doing this in Knit Picks palette yarn, and I have silver and grass and a couple of other colors here. What do I got? Where's my cards? Whatever. So I think that this is, I know I had them in here. All right, serpentine, silver, and grass. Yeah, and then lynx. Lynx is the one I'm using now with this for the sorting hat. So set this down so I can get. So it's a top-down yoke sweater, and I have done my music notes, and I am in the middle of doing my sorting hat. Let's see, it's kind of upside down, but so I've got his eyes already, and yeah, it's knitting along. It's knitting along really cute. I really like it. I'm not really great at carrying floats. I'm hoping it'll block out. I mean, I don't know. I guess it doesn't look too bad on the camera, but I don't know. It's just looking really puckery. It'll probably block out. I'm hoping it'll block out. If it doesn't, it's whatever. It's my first piece. I'll still be proud of it. My first like color work sweater, you know, I'll still really like it. I'm excited about this sweater, and I pick it up. When I pick it up, I intend to knit on it for, you know, the whole afternoon or whatever. It's just slow going for me because I'm new at it. So like, where am I? I'm going this way. Yeah, so you can see, maybe you can see right here, I was picking up my floats in this middle row here, and it's kind of created this weird little pucker. So what I'm doing is, because I've seen videos where people are like, yeah, I don't carry my floats at all. I just bring them across, and then you end up with the long strands, and it's really not that big of a deal, even if you go on across like 7 or 8 stitches. So I'm going back, I'm dropping down, and I'm uncarrying those floats because I found that it looks better. So here I've dropped down and uncarried the floats, and it sits a lot nicer, and I'm sure that when it's blocked it'll look a lot better. It sits a lot nicer than on this side where there's like a clear line where I carried my float there across the 6 stitches. I carried it in the center, and I just don't like it. So I'm dropping down when I come to that row, and I'm uncarrying them. So like I'm dropping down, and then I'm picking back up and just leaving the float behind it. And I'm liking the way that looks better. I have this much more to go, like this many more to fix. And then I'm just not carrying my floats at all. Like I'm just gonna just have them across. I don't think it looks so bad. Like I think it'll be all right. I know I'm not the only one. I don't remember who I was watching, but somebody was like, yeah, I don't carry my floats at all. I just do it, you know, I just knit across, and it always turns out fine. So that is the Hogwarts History Sweater by Meg of Bad Wolf Girl Sits and Knits. The other thing I am working on is, I didn't copy the first page. I'm working on the owl cardigan, and it is in my Knitting Wizardly book. It is also in the unofficial Harry Potter knits. Let's see. I just photocopied the pattern so I didn't have to carry my book in my bag with me. So it's this sweater here, and there's owls, an owl lace detail that goes down the back. And I am knitting that in Patton's of course I don't have any of the labels with me. I've talked about it before. Anyway, I'm knitting that in Patton's. This color is Heathered Plum, and I just really, really love this color. I really like purples, and now it's not showing up right. It's just looking really dark. But, yeah, there we go. It's just like there's specks of like blue and like dark reds in there that are spun together, I'm guessing, to make this plummy heather color. But I really like this, so I started with the sleeves, and I have one sleeve done, and I have the other sleeve done, and I just really, really like the length of this. Let's see if I can get it over my other sweater. Alright, so yeah, I really like this color. This is going to be a nice rusticy feeling sweater. I did 1x1 for the cuff, and I'm doing 1 by 1 for the rib on the bottom. So with that rib on the bottom, I tried to do the tubular cast on for that, and I failed. So I did the tubular cast on for the sleeves. No problem. It's a small amount of stitches. I think it's like 45 stitches or, you know, something like that. So not a big deal. So I tried to do the tubular cast on for this, and it's like 292 stitches, which is not part of the pattern. I added stitches. I have big hips that they don't accommodate for, so I'm doing that myself. Anyway, 292 stitches casting on tubular cast on was not fun. Somewhere along the lines I messed up. I didn't realize that I start doing, you know, my rows back and forth across to the setup rows for the tubular cast on. It was horrible looking. Like I had like half of it was like up to here was fine, and then the rest of it was horrible. So I ripped it out, and I'm like, screw it. I'm just gonna do the twisted German cast on. And I just did that, but I was just like, man, I'm really bummed. I wanted to have that pretty tubular cast on edge, and somebody at my knitting group was like, well, you know, you could do a provisional cast on edge and then, you know, knit down and do a tubular bind off, because tubular bind off is way easier to do than the cast on, in my opinion. And so I was like, oh yeah, but I've already knit like 3 inches on this, and it's going to be 4, and I don't want to rip all of that out. So I didn't. So what I did was I took my needle and I picked up all of these stitches here in my twisted German cast on, and once I'm done with this I think I'm at like 3 3/4 right now. I got a 1/4 of an inch to go, then I'll do the bind off, and then I'll just start here, and then I will knit up. So thank you for suggesting that, Ashley. And so, yeah, I'm gonna knit up. I've already got my little stitch markers in there for, you know, like the sides and where the lace panel will be, and it'll be awesome. So right now I was like, you know, I shouldn't have picked the stitches up before I was done, but I just was wanting to see if I could, because it was twisted German and I didn't know how it was going to look. So this, let's see, this will be the back side. You can see that there's like a little bit of a ridge there from where I picked them up. But the front side where I've picked them all up looks very nice, and it looks very clean. It's a clean line, so that when I knit up, it's not going to be, it'll just kind of be like a seam on the bottom there. So that's exciting. And then, so that's one sweater. The other sweater, the other things that I'm knitting on are socks. So I have in this bag is so cute. I got this from my local farmer's market, and it's needle and oak, and it's Megan Crouch, and she's a needle and oak. You're gonna focus, there you go. And she has the cutest bags. I got a couple of bags from her. I got this one, and then she makes these little key fobs, and I got like a coordinating one, and I put it on there, and it's so cute. They were a really good deal. I'm so excited that there was somebody like local to me. I went to the farmer's market and picked up a couple of her bags. So in here I have my Earth Yarn. They're matching socks, and I got the Lucky, not Lucky Charms, Jesus, St. Patrick's Day, the St. Patrick's Day colorway, and I am knitting up these matching socks. They're really cute. I'm liking these stripes. Like, this is my first self-striping yarn, and I just really like it. And at first I was a little bummed out about this yarn because it seemed very, like, let me show you what I'm talking about. So, like, the ends of it seemed like they weren't plied, like, together very well. Like, they were very thinly plied, or loosely plied is the term I'm looking for. And I was like, oh no, because it was that way up a ways, and then they're plied together, but there are spots in there where they're kind of loosely plied together. you just have to really pay attention to not split your yarn. But I like the feel of the fabric. So, I mean, that is overall what matters versus, you know, how it's plied. There's a, what, I think it's a 3-ply, 4-ply. Now I've got to look. Let's see. 3-ply. So, 1, 2, no, 4-ply. So yeah, it's a 4-ply. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those two are together. It's not gonna focus. I'm shaking the camera. Anyway, it's a 4-ply, and I'm really loving these stripes, and I like the way these socks are feeling. So these have gotten a little bit of knit to them, and I like these progress keepers. This is a newer thing to me that I've seen that people are doing. So this one I got from, with my bag that I got from Quirky Monday, Kalisha. I got it from her Etsy shop. I got a bag from her, and this came with it. And I like these, like, I guess they're like earring backs, which is really cool. I can't really wear them because I have, mine are gauged out. But you could wear it as an earring, or it's fits around your needle like a stitch marker, or you can put it right in your project like a progress keeper, which I like things that have multiple uses. That always makes me happy when something has more than one use, because then it's like you can justify getting it more. So yeah. Did I put that back on the right spot? I sure hope I did. If not, that's the front now. Anyway, so yeah, I got that stitch marker with this bag that I got from Kalisha. And in this bag is living my other project that I am knitting for my husband. I am making him the Apollo socks out of the January Yarniverse that I had gotten. And yeah, that pattern is by Melinda Meeser, and this is what they will look like. And I am using Blazing Fibers yarn for that, and they are coming along slowly. I don't pick these up as often, but I like the way that's looking. Like, I feel like this is probably where I was last time I showed you guys, but I like the way these feel. They're very stretchy. It's a very stretchy yarn, so it's way stretchier than other sock yarn I've used. I had cast on the I think I do 72 stitches for his last pair of socks, and they fit him just fine. And well, I cast it on 72 for these, and I had to rip back because it was way too big. It was giant. Like, it was, like, I can fit, you know, his feet are way bigger than mine, but it's a really stretchy yarn, so that's cool. But if you happen to use Blazing Fibers, just know that their sock yarn is a little on the, I don't know the right term, loose, stretchy, whatever. It's stretchier than other sock yarns that I've used, so maybe do a swatch. I'll never do a swatch, but I mean, I have done a swatch, but it's not my favorite thing to do. I'd rather just start knitting. I know. There are tons of people who are anti-swatching, but I know there's some people out there like me that just knit. And if you have to rip back, like I did, then you have to rip back. You know, it's whatever. It's what I did. So those are all my current projects that I'm working on. I have a couple of finished spins that I want to show you. So I have these two that I've been working on. I might have showed you this on the bobbin last time. So this is some fiber that I got from my Paradise Fibers Fiber of the Month box. These two colors came in 2 different boxes, I believe. No, these two came in the same box. So there's a coral color in there, and it's merino top, and it's blended with a pineapple fiber. And then there's a navy that is also merino top. And it came with beads, so I did like a beaded yarn. You can see a little bit of the beads in there here and there. And I'm really liking this. Kind of looks very patriotic, even though that's coral. And then with the navy, it kind of is looking like, you know, 4th of July-ish to me. So then I spun up just I took the navy from that box, and then there was a blue color, a blue blend from a previous box that's all merino top. And I took that and I mixed it with some of the pineapple fibers, and I did this blue navy one that I spun with these big giant blue beads here, and came out with this one. And now the one that's on my wheel currently is just the coral color with the pineapple fiber and some little white beads that I'm doing. So I'm going to do that, and then when I apply that all together, I'm going to take all 3 of them and I'm going to knit a lacy shawl, because I finally achieved spinning a 2-ply fingering weight. So I'm really excited that I've achieved that with a 2-ply. So that's going to be like a lacy. I don't have a pattern picked out. I'm probably just going to make something up as I go. And so it'll be a bigger skein like this one of the coral, this, and then the 2 together. I'll probably put this one in between them to like fade it together. I don't know yet. Just, you know, wheels turning in my head. So then the other thing that I have finished spinning is some of that Shetland bat. I think I showed you the Shetland bat last time that I got from the Looking Glass Shetlands from the local lady. I think her name is Robin. She has sheep out there in Looking Glass, and she dyes these beautiful bats, and she takes them to my local yarn store, and I buy them every time I buy one, like almost every time I go in there. And this was a really pretty colorway, and it was like yellows and teals and the reds and oranges, and I just love how this turned out. My husband has claimed this yarn. He wants me to make him something out of it. I have not thwacked or washed this, but it's a pretty balanced yarn for me. Like, I generally, everything I have is over twisted and it's all like, you know, falls like that, but this is about as balanced as I've done so far, which is good. That means I'm progressing. But I just really like the way this turned out. Just gonna focus. Yeah. So yeah, so he has claimed this. I had made that topless hat out of the other Shetland one. He wants me to make him a topless hat out of this. I get excited when he gets excited about my things, and he's like, nope, yeah, you're making me something out of that. And it's just, I think it's cute. So there's that. And that is all the stuff that I'm working on or have worked on. I did want to show you guys this month's Fiber of the Month box by Paradise Fibers blew my mind. So I watched Game of Thrones, and I have not watched the latest episode, which was yesterday's, the last episode. I haven't watched it yet. I have to wait till later today to watch it with my husband. But this month, their box was Game of Thrones themed, and I flipped out. Sorry for the crinkles, but it's so cute. He gave you this like house flag magnet. It's like House Paradise, and I've been waiting to put that on my refrigerator. And it came with this. Let me put this down so it stops crinkling. It came with this little baggie here, and there is Wildfire. It's like sparkly green Selena, and they call it Wildfire. Like, if you watch Game of Thrones, you know, like, it came in a little vial. It's so freaking cute. And there's this month's sticker. It looks like the sheep is like on its own little iron throne, but it's like a hay bale with like pitchforks and shovels and stuff. I just love it. I'm sorry that I'm like all loud and excited, and then there was like this little like raven note in there, and it's so cool. And like you spin it out and there's like a little message on there, like, you know, it tells you about the spin along that they're going out. And it's like, there will be one person who takes the throne, one person who is their hand, and one who is honorably knighted as the defender of the realm. You know, spin for the throne, paradise fighter. Like, it's a whole thing. It's so cute. Like, they were on top of their stuff this month. Like, I don't know. And then the colorways I got were, I got the Not Today and the Blue Eyes colorways. I really want to get the other ones. So the Not Today is this one here. It's this beautiful, like, blacks and browns. And let's see, they are 75 merino wool and 25 mulberry silk. So yeah, like, those colors are just beautiful. So awesome. I have been like dying to spin this up. I still have my coral on my wheel, but I have been dying to spin this up, but I wanted to show you guys this box first. The other color I got was the Blue Eyes, and I just love it. Gosh, look at all those blues. Shades of blue and the light blue and the whites in there. It's like silvery white, and they were on top of their stuff this month. Like, I cannot believe how much I love this month's box. I was super excited. And then the tweed that I got it's a South American wool and viscose tweed. I got the fire colorway. No, I lied. I got the ice colorway. And it's just so cool looking. Like, those little nips, and like, this is gonna make the cutest yarn. So yeah. Oh, and there's a little dragon egg stitch marker in there too, which is cute. And they gave you a fire and an ice, a fireball and a Mentos like ice. It's like, they're just, they really like put a lot of thought into their box. This box is like totally freaking worth it. This is not sponsored at all. I'm just like super excited about my box. Like, and you know, I pay for my box and everything. I just got really excited. So then there's this little dragon egg progress keeper. She's super cute. Yeah, so that's super cute. And I really love it. Absolutely love it. I say that all the time. Absolutely love it. I don't know what I just dropped. All right, so the last thing I wanted to show you is my friend Vanessa lives on the East Coast, and she went to Maryland Sheep and Wool. And I was silly enough to never have gone there when I lived over there. And I really wish I had, but one day I'll go back and visit and I'll go there. Anyway, I knew that she was going to Maryland Sheep and Wool, and I knew that Hobbeldehoy is like getting ready to retire, more or less, or like really cut back, and it's very hard to get anything of hers in her shop. So I messaged my friend Vanessa, and she has her own podcast with Diane and their Knitty Knotty podcast on YouTube, and I will link that. And I had her grab me a couple of bats from Hobbeldehoy, and I absolutely love the colors that she picked for me. Let me pull this out of the bag so you can see it. Like, it's just awesome. I cannot wait to spin this up either. I think that there is a lot of spinning for me this summer. Like, I thank you so much, Vanessa. You did great at picking these colorways for me. Like, this is like 4 ounces. Like, these bats they seem huge. Like, I don't know. I'm really excited to spin these up. All right, and then the other one I got, my husband's like eyeballing it. So he is a big fan of DJ Pony from My Little Ponies, and so he likes DJ Pony and all of the things that are in that colorway, and this kind of reminds me of DJ Pony. It's not the name of the colors by any choice, but these colors are like my husband's favorite colors, like purples and blues, and it's very mermaidy to me, but he's like, you're gonna knit me something out of that, right? I'm like, but there's sparkly in it. He's like, so? So he's trying to lay claim on this already. I haven't even got to spin it. I don't even know what it's going to turn out to be, but I apparently have to knit it for him. But all of those ones look just like that. They're just so cute. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for getting those for me. Well, that's all I got today. I mean, all I got, that was like a whole lot. I think this is like my longest episode ever. But I don't have a whole lot of else going on. My mom came to visit, and that was fun. My mom and dad came out here. My kids had fun hanging out with them. My life is kind of boring most of the time. I don't know. I feel like sometimes there's interesting things that I want to say, but then I don't remember them after the fact. Like my memory, squirrel pretty much like describes me, like something else excites me and then I move on. So, but it's getting ready to be summertime. So here in the summer when I do my podcasts, probably gonna have a little co-host because my daughter is dying to be on the internet and she wants to be a YouTube star. And I'm like, I am far from a YouTube star, but you can come on my podcast with me during the summer if you can sit and still-ish and be quiet, let mama talk. That's not gonna happen. Y'all will see. Anybody who knows out there who knows Scarlett, you know how that's gonna turn out. But she'll probably be in an episode or two over the summer. And yeah, so that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for stopping in my little corner of the internet, and have a good day. Bye.